Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something huge, really one of the biggest financial moments in anyone's life, buying or selling a home. Most people only do this a few times, maybe. And because it's such a major investment, well, it unfortunately puts you right in the crosshairs for some pretty clever scams. We're going to dive deep specifically into the kinds of real estate scams hitting buyers and sellers right here in Western Washington. We'll focus a bit on areas like Lake Tapps, too. Our mission today, it's simple: arm you with the knowledge, the tools, the insights you need to protect that home investment. And a lot of our insights today come from a really excellent blog post. It's called Real Estate Scams: Protect Your Western Washington Home Investment. It's by Don and Susie Karstedt over at Rethinking Real Estate in Lake Tapps, Washington. They lay out 5 key scams and, crucially, how to protect yourself. So, okay, let's unpack this. It's really all about giving you practical steps so you can avoid these traps.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating, and Don and Susie really nail this, is how these scams almost always prey on, well, urgency and trust. Two very human things.
Yeah.
They tap into that desire for a great deal, maybe the fear of missing out, or just our tendency to rely on people who seem like professionals. So understanding what the scams are is one thing, but understanding why they work, that's key to knowing the specific actions you can take.
That makes total sense. It's psychology, not just technical tricks.
Yeah.
And speaking of urgency, that first scam Don and Susie list, phantom rentals, that seems like a perfect example. Exploiting that need to find a place fast, especially in a hot market.
Oh, definitely. This one's nasty because it uses real properties against you.
Yeah.
Scammers literally copy legitimate rental listings. They take the photos, the description, all the details from a real home for rent, and then they just repost it somewhere else as their own, often at a price that seems, frankly, too good to be true. Yeah. They lure in people who are eager to rent, collect deposits, maybe first month's rent too, security deposit, and then poof, they vanish.
Yeah.
The poor tenant shows up, ready to move in, and either finds someone else living there legitimately or the actual owner who had no idea their place was even listed by this fraudster.
Ugh, the sheer audacity of that, just grabbing a real listing, it really hammers home how vital seeing the place in person is, doesn't it? I can just picture someone feeling that pressure, especially in a tight market like Lake Tapps can be sometimes, needing to lock something down quickly. So how do you fight that pressure?
Yeah, you've hit it exactly. That market pressure, that FOMO, the fear of missing out, that's the weak spot they exploit. People feel rushed and caution goes out the window. So the absolute key takeaway here has to be verify physically before you commit financially. Never, ever wire money, send a check, anything before you have personally seen that property.
Right.
Or at least had someone you really trust, maybe a local agent, see it for you. You have to confirm it exists and the person you're talking to actually represents it. Stick to reputable rental platforms. And really, working directly with a local licensed real estate agent is your best bet. If anything feels off about a listing online, a local agent can usually verify it pretty quickly for you. They know the area, they have the tools. Don't let that urgency trick you.
That's solid advice. Never let the rush bypass the checks. Okay, let's shift to something else that sounds frankly terrifying. It strikes right at ownership itself. Title fraud.
It is. It's absolutely devastating.
Yeah.
This is where criminals manage to steal someone's identity. Then they forge the official documents, the title deeds, and illegally transfer ownership of the property into their own name, or a fake name they control.
Oh my God.
And once the paperwork looks like they own it, they can try to take out mortgages against it, or even sell the house from under the real owner, who might not find out for months.
Wow. I mean, title insurance is obviously important, but that feels like it helps after the damage is done. Are there things homeowners can do before that? Like proactively?
Yeah.
Especially if maybe the property's vacant or they live far away.
That's a really critical point. The difference between prevention and recovery. Because recovering from title fraud, well, it can mean long legal fights, lots of money. It's awful. So step one is definitely getting that owner's title insurance policy when you buy. That protects you from claims dating before your purchase, but proactively, especially for vacant homes, rentals, or if you're an owner living elsewhere in Western Washington or even further. It's smart to periodically check your property's title status yourself. You can usually do this through the county recorder's office website. And many counties now actually offer free property fraud alert services.
Well, that's useful.
Yeah, they notify you if any documents,
Yeah.
like deeds or liens, are filed against your property. A good agent, of course, will make sure all the protections, including the right title insurance, are buttoned up tight before closing. So the big insight: proactive vigilance is your first defense. Title insurance is the shield, yes, But doing your own occasional checks adds another crucial layer.
Proactive vigilance. Got it. Okay, next on the list from Don and Susie. This one plays on our natural instinct to trust experts. Fake real estate agents. That's unsettling.
It really is, because real estate is complex, right?
Mm.
We want to trust the professionals guiding us. So in this scam, you have individuals literally pretending to be licensed agents. They might make up a name, maybe steal a real agent's identity, slightly altered, build a fake website that looks professional, or show you fake credentials. They basically try to look the part.
Yeah.
And they try to collect money from you. Maybe an application fee, a deposit to hold a property, sometimes even advance fees for services they never intend to provide.
Yeah.
Once they have your money, they disappear. It's a direct attack on that professional trust.
Yeah. I can see how a first-time buyer, maybe someone really excited or a bit overwhelmed, could fall for that. So checking the license online is step one, obviously. But are there subtler clues? Maybe things in how they act or communicate that might feel a bit off, even if someone's trying to be careful when they meet someone claiming to be an agent in, say, Lake Tapps?
That's a great question, because sometimes it is subtle. Verifying that license on the Washington State Department of Licensing website is non-negotiable. Absolutely do that first. But also, watch for inconsistencies. Does the agent seem reluctant to meet you at a proper brokerage office? Do they prefer only communicating via text or maybe a specific messaging app, avoiding phone calls or video? Do they pressure you, rush you into signing things without explaining them properly? A legitimate professional agent welcomes your questions. They expect you to do your homework. They'll happily provide references, point you to their official online presence. So the insight here: trust, but verify everything and question anything that feels unprofessional. A real local agent wants you to feel secure. They know scrutiny builds trust. It doesn't break it.
That's really practical. Look for those deviations from normal professional behavior. Okay, moving on. There's a type of scam that often pops up when the market gets tricky or when people are facing hard times. Foreclosure and distress sale scams. It feels like they're preying on hope, almost. That hope for a steal.
You phrased that perfectly. They weaponize hope. This scam usually starts with an ad for a property that's supposedly a must-sell fast situation,
Right.
a distress sale. They'll often cite a looming foreclosure, maybe a divorce, some kind of financial hardship as the reason for the urgency and the low price. The scammer's whole game is to push you into acting now. They want you to make a quick offer, often with minimal paperwork, and they'll strongly discourage you from doing the usual checks, inspections, appraisals, careful title review. They want you to feel you've stumbled onto this amazing secret deal that you'll lose if you hesitate. It plays right into that desire for a bargain.
Great, but we all know the saying, if it sounds too good to be true. Yet sometimes in real estate there are genuine distressed properties, actual good deals to be had. So how do you tell the difference? How do you know if it's real or just bait?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because that lure of a great deal can definitely cloud judgment.
Yeah.
Don and Susie Karstedt's advice on this is crystal clear. Never skip due diligence, ever. A genuine opportunity, even a distressed sale, will still stand up to scrutiny. It will allow for inspections, title checks, proper contract review. If someone is pushing you hard to waive those rights, huge red flag, massive.
Okay.
A good local agent can investigate the situation. They can verify if there really is a foreclosure pending, check the property history, make sure the deal structure is legitimate. Your best defense is just being methodical. Don't get swept up in the limited time offer hype. The key insight: true opportunity rarely requires blind haste. Always verify the distress independently. Real distress sales still follow legal processes. Due diligence is always, always your friend.
Absolutely critical. Due diligence, don't rush. Okay, the last one, number 5. And this one feels maybe the most modern and honestly the scariest. Wire fraud at closing. It hits right at the finish line.
It is terrifying. And it's incredibly sophisticated and damaging because it targets that final massive transfer of funds, your down payment, maybe the whole purchase price, often your life savings. What happens is hackers manage to break into email accounts, yours, your agents, the escrow companies, often through phishing. You click a bad link, maybe weak password security somewhere. Then they monitor the email traffic. Right before closing, they'll send an email that looks exactly like it's from the escrow company or your agent, but it contains altered wire instructions.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it tricks you, the buyer, into sending that huge sum of money not to the legitimate escrow account, but directly to the criminal's account. And once that wire goes through, getting it back is extremely difficult, often impossible.
So, okay, what does this mean for someone listening, maybe getting ready to close on a house in Western Washington? This is just, it feels so insidious. How can you possibly guard against that at that crucial moment? We live on email.
It feels insidious because it is. It undermines the digital trust we rely on. So the absolute unbreakable rule for avoiding wire fraud is this. Always, always verify wire instructions by phone. And this is the critical part. Use a phone number you know is legitimate, one you got from your agent's official website months ago, or from a business card, or that you looked up independently.
Right, not from the email itself.
Never use a phone number provided in the email that contains the instructions, or even in recent emails about the closing. That number could easily just lead you back to the scammer pretending to be the escrow officer. Be super suspicious of any email that talks about new or updated wire instructions, especially if it creates urgency. Send funds immediately, instructions have changed, things like that.
Red flags.
Huge red flags. Reputable agents and escrow companies in Washington know about this threat. They use secure portals, encrypted emails, and have procedures in place. They expect you to call and verify. So the key insight cannot be stressed enough. Verify, 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 always out of band. Never trust email instructions for wiring money without voice confirmation using a known trusted number.
That's incredibly important advice. Verify out of band. Okay, so those are the 5 big scams from Don and Susie's list. They cover a lot, from the first look to the final payment. Beyond knowing these specific threats, what are the big picture takeaways, the sort of final guiding principles they offer to stay safe?
Yeah, they wrap up with some excellent general advice that really pulls it all together. And the first one, maybe the most crucial, is simply work with trusted professionals. Seriously, choosing a reputable, experienced local agent, someone based right there in Lake Tapps or wherever you're looking in Western Washington, that's huge. They know the market, they know the players, they can often spot red flags you'd completely miss. They're like your human firewall.
That makes sense, having that experienced guide. And I guess tied to that is the advice about not letting yourself get rushed.
Exactly. We saw how almost all these scams use urgency as a weapon. They want you panicked, making emotional choices, not logical ones. So you have to consciously slow down. Take your time. Don't let anyone pressure you into signing something you don't understand or sending money before you're 100% sure. Remember, haste makes waste, especially here.
And what about the money itself, especially for these huge transactions? Any cardinal rules there?
Yes, the big one is avoid cash. Just don't do it for real estate deposits or payments. Always use secure, traceable methods like verified wire transfers after confirming instructions or cashier's checks handled through proper escrow procedures. This creates a clear paper trail. And make sure every single contract is reviewed carefully, ideally by your agent and maybe even an attorney before you sign. Transparency and traceability, they're your best friends.
Makes sense. And the last piece of advice, it sounds simple, but probably really powerful. Listen to your gut.
Absolutely. That little feeling, that nagging sense that something isn't quite right, even if you can't put your finger on why. Don't ignore it. Pause the process. Ask more questions. Seek clarification. Get a second opinion from someone else you trust. Often, your intuition picks up on subtle inconsistencies before your logical brain does. It's a powerful early warning system. And you know, what's really interesting when you look at all these tips together, they really boil down to just a few core ideas, don't they? Verify everything. Don't get rushed. And lean on people you trust who have expertise.
Yeah.
It's not just good advice for real estate. It's solid practice for pretty much any major financial decision in life.
That's a great way to put it. Really actionable. And by keeping those core strategies in mind, listeners can definitely navigate the market here in Western Washington with a lot more confidence and really cut down their risk. It's about being empowered, not paranoid.
So look, real estate scams are definitely out there. They are a real threat, as we've discussed today, drawing on that great work by Don and Susie Karstedt. But the good news is they are absolutely avoidable. With some caution, that due diligence we keep mentioning, and having the right pros on your team, you really can move forward with confidence on your home buying or selling journey.
And maybe, beyond all the checklists and verification steps, the single most powerful protection is simply knowing who you can call. Who you trust implicitly to give you that second opinion when your gut starts screaming that something feels off. Building those solid relationships with reliable local experts, that might just be the ultimate safeguard in the end. That's a fantastic final thought. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into protecting your Western Washington home investment. We really hope this gives you the confidence and the practical tools you need moving forward.